4 weeks after the November 2nd election, California finally has declared a winner in the Attorney General race, and it's not the one Karl Rove wanted.
I pride myself and us of living in a state that has always been known to be the source of change. So goes California, goes the rest of the country. We are the place that has the courage to invite new approaches, always in search of innovation, not because we're bored with things the way they've been, but because we strive to be efficient and effective and relevant.
Called by some observers the female Barack Obama, Kamala Harris is already making history. She is the first female, the first African American, and the first Indian American to hold the position of California Attorney General. Despite Karl Rove's last-minute ad buy against her, Harris finished so close to her Republican opponent that it took a month to finish counting every vote. She won by less than 1 percentage point. Her win completes a clean sweep of the 8 statewide offices for California Democrats, and we here at The Last Word would like to think we had a little something to do with that. Here was her last statewide television appearance 2 days before the election.
It is neck and neck, and it is coming down to these last days and hours of the campaign, and I am walking and talking and knocking on doors with anyone who will talk with me.
Joining me now from San Francisco, the next California Attorney General, Kamala Harris. Kamala, I'm not sure you're aware, but that appearance you did Sunday on this show, Sunday before the election, actually aired 3 times in California that day. First, it was live at 12 noon. Then it was rerun later, I believe, at 3, and then at 7 p.m. So I've got to think, in that last-minute desperate turnout drive, you couldn't go statewide from an L.A. local station or a San Francisco local station. Don't you think it really got to cross that finish line by coming here in the last
It was the Lawrence O'Donnell factor. There is no question about it. No question about it. But it really, this campaign, obviously, was about a very important office and very important issues at play, and voters came out. There were over 9 million people who voted in the Attorney General's race, and because it is such an important office on fundamental issues that will impact the lives of everyone, and it relates to issues that have to do with preserving our environment and moving forward policy that is about prioritizing clean air and water. It is about a lot of what we discussed, which is using the force of the law in a way that can protect homeowners and all of those folks who have lived the American dream but are finding that they're being victims of fraud as it relates to their mortgage or foreclosure. A lot of what we talked about was also what we need to do to reform the criminal justice system, because it is badly broken, and it is not only expensive in terms of the cost to our public safety, but expensive in terms of the state budget in a state that is, frankly, on the verge of bankruptcy. So there were many important issues at play, and coming on your show gave me the opportunity to talk a little bit more about it, and I'm humbled that the voters decided that I should be the next Attorney General of California.
I was not surprised that Karl Rove and National Republicans took an interest in your race, because they were afraid, I think very clearly afraid, that they needed to stop you from getting statewide office because they were afraid of seeing another kind of political star like Barack Obama emerge in the Democratic Party. What lessons have you learned now that you've had to fight back against the Rove Republican attack machine?
Well, one of the lessons I learned is that despite Karl Rove and that band of folks who were tobacco and insurance and oil companies who funded that independent expenditure, despite that focused effort on attacking our campaign in Los Angeles, the voters of California refused to be bought by outside interests. And that was a wonderful thing to learn, and I believed that would be so. What we do in California, and your clip talked about it, what we do in California, we know has an impact on the entire country. And I think part of the reason they were motivated to get involved in this down-ballot race is because they understood the national impact of the work that we can do in that office. And they lost.
Now, as San Francisco District Attorney, you have come up with many innovative strategies that you've actually used a prosecutor's office to improve the educational system, for example, by enforcing truancy laws in an innovative way, and other things like that. Are there things that Californians are going to be surprised to discover their Attorney General doing that use the powers of the office in new ways?
Well, I am committed to this thing we call innovation, and the work that I've done so far in connecting, for example, the issue of public safety to the issue of public education has been about just moving forward and looking at systems and the connection between them, and then doing what we can to improve efficiency. We all want public safety, but we are spending billions of dollars in a broken system that has resulted in a revolving door of crime in California. Right now, in fact, there's a case before the United States Supreme Court, which comes out of California and is addressing the issue of prison overcrowding and what that means in terms of constitutional protections. Well, I would suggest to you, Larry, that the issue is not in terms of the problem. Overcrowding, it is not about early release of prisoners before they've completed their term. It's about a revolving door of crime that has to be shut. There needs to be leadership around that, and I believe the Attorney General can provide that leadership.
Kamala Harris, Attorney General-elect of California, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
And you are invited back on the program to announce your presidential campaign in 2016 as soon as you are ready to make that announcement for 2016. Thank you very much.
I'm ready to get to work as AG. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.